Manchester United treble winning team in 1999, you saw that they had, I think they had about four strikers. They had the likes of Dwight York, Andy Cole, they had the likes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So when you are playing against a defense that is sitting very deep, they have a low block. I mean, there's no space to run in behind. So it's difficult to create. Now, Manchester United fans, Manchester United has completed the signing of Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna for a reported fee of 42 million euros. Last season, the start of last season, Manchester United also signed the Danish striker Rasmus Hojlund for a fee of 72 million pounds from Atalanta, also in the Italian Serie A. If you understand how Manchester United have conducted their transfer businesses over the past few years, you know that it is unheard of for Manchester United, to make such a signing a striker, a young striker. Of course, Rasmus Hojlund is 21 years of age as I speak now. He was 20 when he was signed, and Joshua Zirkzee is 23 years. So they are signing two young strikers, in just the period of 1 year. And a lot of persons are asking the question, does this mean that Manchester United no longer trust Rasmus Hojlund as the starting main man, as the striker for Manchester United? Is that what this means? Now, of course, Rasmus Hojlund last season played 43 games, scoring 16 goals and created 2 assists in 43 games, which is a respectable number for a striker, a young striker in his debut season at Manchester United in the Premier League. So does the signing of Joshua Zirkzee mean that Project Hojlund is over? Is this what it means? Now, many Manchester United fans have been asking, Zirkzee, Hojlund, blah, blah, blah. This video is going to answer all of your questions. If you're new here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the notifications button so that you get notified when there's new content on the Football Slides TV. Like I said, the question is, have Manchester United admitted that signing Rasmus Hojlund was a mistake? Does the signing of Joshua Zirkzee mean that they have finally admitted that Hojlund is not the man to take Manchester United to the next level and Zirkzee is that man? Or is this some sort of combination, trying to have a combination between Rasmus Hojlund and Joshua Zirkzee as the guys that will take them forward? I mean, what exactly is Manchester United trying to do in this position? Don't forget also that Marcus Rashford is still at the club and also can play in the striking position once or twice if he is required to. So, I mean, what are they trying to do? It's difficult to find out. But let me explain what I think Manchester United are trying to do by signing Joshua Zirkzee alongside Rasmus Hojlund in their club. Now, if you ask me personally, and you say, goodness, come, is Manchester United trying to replace Rasmus Hojlund permanently with Joshua Zirkzee? My answer is no. There are 3 reasons I believe Manchester United signed Joshua Zirkzee alongside Rasmus Hojlund. The first reason was for competition. Now, every proper football team needs to have at least 2 players in every position that can compete with each other. If you look at the best teams, you would find out that there are 2 players in every position that can compete with each other. Now, it ensures that players don't become lax and they are too sure that there's nobody good enough to bench them, and then they might not be able to turn in the best performances week in, week out. If you look at Manchester City's team, which is the benchmark for the best, for the best way to construct a squad in the Premier League today, you see that even Erling Haaland has a replacement in Julian Alvarez. Okay, everybody has a replacement in that Manchester City's team. I beg your pardon. Everybody has a replacement, and that is how a proper football team should be structured. Now, last season, if Rasmus Hojlund is not fit or is not in form, there is simply nobody that could play. Marcus Rashford last season was also not in form. If he was in form, he is not a striker. He's a left winger and he could only deputize as a striker. So Rasmus Hojlund was the only recognized, fit forward, centre forward for Manchester United for the most of last season. Of course, they had Anthony Martial, but I mean, Anthony Martial is hardly ever fit. So the point is, Manchester United needed a player that can come in as a competition for Rasmus Hojlund to keep him on his toes. And I feel it's very good that they are signing a young striker in Joshua Zirkzee, someone that can keep him on his toes. If they were signing an older striker, probably someone like Andrea Bellotti, for instance, I mean, Andrea Bellotti is older, and you know that he's not going to be putting Rasmus Hojlund's place under any serious threat. But this is Joshua Zirkzee. He's a young striker, and he could really, compete with Rasmus Hojlund for that starting bet. And even when you look at Manchester United's teams of old, you see the likes of the Manchester United treble winning team in 1999, you saw that they had, I think they had about four strikers. They had the likes of Dwight York and Andy Cole. They had the likes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They had strikers. They had options in literally every position that could deputize in case someone is either not fit or not in form. The second reason why I think United signed Joshua Zirkzee alongside Rasmus Hojlund is similar to the first reason, and it is for cover. Now, United are going to be competing on multiple fronts this season, this new season we're about to get into. And that means that they have to play in the Premier League, they have to play in the UEFA Europa League, they have to play in the FA Cup, and also in the Carabao Cup. We saw last season how much injuries ravaged Manchester United squad. Virtually every week there was almost a new injury every week. Okay, and if Erik ten Hag does not want that to happen, he needs to have cover in every position. That, okay, fine, even if they have as much injuries as they had last season, I mean, there should be cover. There should be players that could deputize in that position, and there wouldn't be so much of a drop-off in the quality. So by having Rasmus Hojlund and Joshua Zirkzee, let's even say, for instance, Rasmus Hojlund is still the starting striker. If he is injured, there's a cover that, I mean, the drop off in quality is not so much. Joshua Zirkzee, I mean, there are so many videos on social media, on YouTube, that shows you how good Joshua Zirkzee is as an attacking footballer. Okay, so if he is replacing Rasmus Hojlund in that team, there shouldn't be so much of a drop off in terms of quality. So I believe that's the second reason why Joshua Zirkzee was signed. He was signed as cover for Rasmus Hojlund. Now, the third, and I believe the most important reason why I believe Joshua Zirkzee was signed alongside Rasmus Hojlund is as a different tactical option. Now, listen, Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Hojlund are very, very different in terms of style. I believe the only thing similar between both of them is that they are both young. That's the only thing, and they are both tall, 6'4", 6'3" ish. I mean, that's the only similarity between both of them. In terms of style, they are very, very different footballers. We know Rasmus Hojlund. We saw his game last season, and we saw his game at Atalanta. We've seen that he's a striker that likes to stand on the shoulder of the last defender, occupy that defender. He likes to run in behind. He's not so comfortable when it has to do with dropping deep to link up play. He prefers to, run in behind. He prefers to attack the back post. A classic throwback striker. That's what Rasmus Hojlund is. He also likes to hold the ball at feet once or twice. Dribble with it, get into the box. He's that kind of striker. Joshua Zirkzee is very different. Joshua Zirkzee is a classic deep lying forward. He's not the run of the shoulder type of forward. He has sufficient pace. He's not slow and he's not lightning quick, but he has sufficient pace. So you won't see him spinning in behind. Instead, just like the way Harry Kane does, and just the way Zlatan Ibrahimovic used to do, you see him drop deep, you see him link play, you see him create chances for his wingers. And so that shows how very different he is from Rasmus Hojlund. In fact, they literally occupy opposite roles. Joshua Zirkzee kind of occupies the number 10 role while he's playing. While, like I said, Rasmus Hojlund is an out-and-out centre forward. Now, how does this help Manchester United? Last season, we saw how Rasmus Hojlund struggled to get goals. We also saw how Manchester United struggled to create chances. Now, and I've not been able to make a video. I'm going to do this for Manchester United fans, so watch out that I'm going to make a video talking about Manchester United's attacking structure before the start of the new season. One of the things that troubled United last season was the wingers United have, the likes of Marcus Rashford, the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, and even Amad Diallo and Anthony to an extent. These are players that like to come inside for themselves. These are players that like to come inside for themselves. You see, when Rashford plays on the left, you see him cutting inside to his right. When Garnacho plays on the left, you see him doing the same thing. And the same on the right for Amad and Anthony. You see them always coming inside to their left. And that means that the first instinct for them is to shoot. They don't really think of creating chances for themselves, which is the reason why Rasmus Hojlund is always starved of chances. Another thing is that you see that these their wingers, all of the wingers, I think probably except Amad, most of them prefer to run in behind. Rashford doesn't want it to fit. He wants to run in behind. Garnacho doesn't want it to fit. He wants to run in behind. The same with Amad. Amad, most times actually wants it to fit. He hardly really runs in behind. But I mean, he didn't play so much last season. But Anthony also likes to run in behind. Now, what happens is that Rasmus Hojlund is also trying to run in behind. So each of the defenders, the opposition defenders, know what they have to do, to counter Manchester United. However, if you have Joshua Zirkzee in that position, so when you are playing against a defense that is sitting very deep, they have a low block, I mean, there's no space to run in behind, so it's difficult to create chances by running in behind. But when you have Joshua Zirkzee will drop deep, and when he drops deep, he occupies that half space, that number 10 space. And you see what he does is that he drags a defender alongside him, and then these runners from the wing, the likes of Rashford, Garnacho, and the likes, you see them running to occupy those positions that the defenders have vacated, and that will help to create chances for themselves and for their other teammates. So Joshua Zirkzee can act as a kind of dummy runner, to help create space for his teammates when they are low block. What I'm trying to explain is that Joshua Zirkzee brings a different tactical option for Ten Hag. Even if he decides to start Rasmus Hojlund, and he starts the game and he sees that, the defense is too tight, they are trying to unlock the defense. By introducing Joshua Zirkzee's, style of play will be able to create chances just by the way he plays, by dropping deep, create space for his opponents, and you will see that there will be more chances for the likes of Rashford and Garnacho to score next season. So I believe that's one of the most important reasons why Joshua Zirkzee was signed. Is a different style to Rasmus Hojlund, and he brings something different to the table that Rasmus Hojlund doesn't. That doesn't mean he's better, and that doesn't mean he's inferior. It only means that he brings something different, and it's a brilliant option for any team to have. So I believe I've answered your question. Is Project Hojlund over? No, Project Hojlund is not over. They just gave it a different name. It's now called Project Zirkzee. It means that Zirkzee and Hojlund will be playing together. There are times that Hojlund will have to start some games, Zirkzee will have to start some games, and I actually do believe you're going to see them together. There are some games that United will need to go all out attack, and you can see Bruno Fernandes being dropped as a number 8 and playing alongside Kobe Menu. You see Bruno and Menu as a deep line midfielders. You see Zirkzee, and then you see Hojlund up front. You have the wingers. Okay, so I believe that's a formation that Erik ten Hag can really work with going forward. If you enjoyed the video, do well to like it, do well to subscribe to the channel, and click on the notifications button so that you get notified when we drop new content, because there are new amazing content coming up on the channel. Thank you very much for always watching the Football Slides TV. My name remains Goodness Eze. See you in the next video.